All right, so we're going to upload the image Andrew was talking about. So we are here in a physical event. We are running a virtual event, virtual environment on a platform called GamerJibe. And I first heard about GamerJibe in 2019. I met the founder through some social contacts on LinkedIn. And basically what they had at the time was like a Reddit/Discord community, but for gamers, for gaming communities. He told me they were transitioning into virtual environments specifically for virtual events. Now this is pre-March 2020, so it was like 6 months before the whole world completely changed. But even when he told me that, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'm a gamer. Who's a WoW player? Anybody played WoW back in the day? Okay. Obviously now it's more Minecraft, Roblox, things like that. Obviously WoW's still around. But I spent a lot of time on Burning Crusade. So shout out to any WoW players. So it made sense to me when he was telling me we were creating a platform for virtual events. So long story short, the image that you see up there is the event happening right now. So just a couple things. It's web-based. There's no VR headset equipment quite yet for it to integrate. That's more in 2022. But that's what the environment looks like right now. There's virtual booths, so kind of think of it like a conference center where sponsors and event organizers have their information in each booth. It's text and audio at the same time. So anybody on Clubhouse? All right, so it's kind of like Clubhouse or Telegram 2.0. It's like the next stage. So a couple things on me, because I always take a macro approach when I get involved with startups and things like that. I'm an early stage investor, mainly focused on esports, gaming, and infrastructure. I'm a part of the angel group out of Chicago called Chicago Early Growth Ventures. They focus mainly on Chicago startups, but they do go outside of that a little bit in the gaming space as well. I'm a partner of GamerForce Ventures, the Southeast Asia firm focused on esports and gaming. One of their investments is the #1 esports award called RSG Resurgence out of Singapore. My brother is a Super Smash Melee player, top 50 in the world. I've watched him grow on Twitch over the years. So I've kind of been around this for 5 or 6 years and just seeing all this kind of running together. So for me, again, 2019, I heard the vision, made sense. I see the virtual events or the platforms going from, like social platforms are, have been scrolling essentially. So Twitter or Facebook, a lot of scrolling. And what you've seen is an explosion in audio tech. So if you know Clubhouse or platforms like that, audio tech has exploded. So the reason why I bring that up is the GamerJibe platform integrates all of that together, specifically for virtual events. So obviously, fast forward to 2020, this happened. It was a nice idea. So virtual events were kind of like, oh, it's a nice idea. And then the world completely changed. It's like, oh, we have to have a virtual event. Like virtual event became every other sentence in people's conversations because physical events went to 0 overnight. So we went through all that. So it's been interesting being, I'm an early investor and been on the board with them for a while, and it's been interesting to see the transition. I thought it was a very interesting long-term vision, but it became a now vision when 2020 happened. So as it pertains to this event, we've got 2 events going on at the same time. One other thing I wanted to bring up was the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see kind of a box, and what we're doing, we're piping into a live stream. So we've got YouTube running for Silicon Nexus YouTube, and then we pipe that into the environment. So anyone that uses their avatar on any web-based platform, can be, usually people use Chrome or Firefox, then your avatar drops in, and you can watch me talk right now from anywhere in the world, as long as you have the internet connection. And you can run the software. So, sorry, not software, it's web-based. So that's the macro of it is, I think we're shifting into different types of social, getting away from scrolling and then using these virtual environments, especially as the generation of gamers. I'm 34 years old. As we age, we've been gamers our whole lives. So gamifying experiences have obviously been what's happened. And that's what obviously Silicon Nexus is doing. And another way to kind of explain it too is, we've got the physical world. Silicon Nexus is actually launching this as their 2.0, like next layer of Telegram community. So instead of having just a Discord or a Telegram community, you now have a virtual environment 24/7 to integrate with everybody. so that you can go in and talk to each other, and it's not just talking on audio on Discord or just text on following someone's core blog or something like that. So it's another layer to communicate with others, and we're seeing that adoption take on as time goes on. So I found all that interesting, and last year we had roughly for our Run for the Unicorns 2020, I believe over like 130 registrants total, and it was interesting. It was one of the first events I ever ran on the platform. So it's been interesting to see like how it's changed over the years. So on the product, and a couple things, but you can see how on the bottom chat there, you've got your microphone and your video. So you can actually, users can use a camera, and then you can see the person that's controlling that particular avatar. And your avatars can walk up to different avatars and learn about their socials and everything connected to it. So it integrates into other social platforms as well. So you've seen some interesting like branding throughout the environment as well, for different types of vendors, different types of booths that they have. So yeah, just trying to create this cross reality from a virtual event standpoint. Because obviously what happened in March was Zoom went from 10 million users to 200 million basically overnight. And Hopin, if you've heard of Hopin, the virtual events platform, they were one of the fastest startups ever in the history of startups, now worth over $2 billion in about a year. But it was obviously a platform for virtual events. So it's an interesting trend to follow and just kind of see where it goes. Obviously, a lot of VC money is piled into these video events. They kind of look all the same. It's kind of Zoom on steroids, but we haven't quite seen the scaling of virtual environments for events that's been packaged the right way. So it's just an interesting thing to kind of watch as we're all kind of in the same spaces. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what's going on right now. The event is live online, and basically you take a link, you drop it in, your avatar drops it, you customize what you look like. So if you have questions, I'll be in the corner over there as well. You can take a look at it. But did anybody have any questions or thoughts about the environment or the platform itself? Anything comes to mind? Yep. Yeah, so what you're actually seeing here, this is the first release of the new UI. So Tom, I know we talked, the UI changed. So it's more user-friendly when it comes to knowing your microphone's on, knowing your camera's on. So that's getting a little bit more slick. I am excited for the integration of actual VR next year. I think that's going to be really interesting with the headsets. But looked at it initially as the adoption, just make it as easy as possible to start, and then kind of layer it in. It comes down to, I mentioned in what they do with customizing the experience from an organizer standpoint, making it as easy as possible. Within 5 minutes, you can go to the website, just answer a few questions, and then bang, you've got a virtual environment created. Like, you don't have to take all the time and design and things like that. It's like anything else. You just want to make the process easy. So they've got the self-portal coming out where anyone can go on there and just answer a few things, and their whole virtual environment's created. Because one of the questions is, or one of the thoughts is, this looks daunting, that looks like a lot of work. But if you make it an easy process with the self-portal that's coming out, people will start using it more and more. We're seeing that. Because it's basically in beta right now with the platform. Yeah. As far as this specifically, or just in general? So the vision for this 24/7 environment is to obviously have to onboard the users of the specific community. So for this example, Silicon Nexus with their Telegram group, it's a kind of a 3D social environment. So you can share ideas, you can talk to each other because there's audio, you can connect all your socials together and things like that. Customize the booths. There's gamification. So the gamification side, that's another really exciting thing, Tom, is your question earlier. Doing like seek and finds, like basically running around the space and collecting droids potentially, or something like that, and it goes straight to their wallets. And there's some really interesting integrations there to not just, okay, I'm in the space, and now what? you can actually earn something while you're there. So I think that's or if you're a Bitcoiner, or having Satoshis is another example of doing certain things within the environment and earning something for it, but earning something in what? So it's more than just, I have an avatar, I can see you, like that's great. But what can I do? What value can I get for being in there? So I think it's integrating, and Tom talked about it, but integrating currency, integrating value into doing certain things as part of an event or part of a social platform. But again, it starts with virtual events specifically, and then it's going into a wider mode of this is like how people
in a new way, a new and easy way. So, because the other point too was, again, VR, somebody might think, Tom, like VR, the pieces are there, it's out there, it's just not quite streamlined. So as far as ease of use for mainstream, this is like the bridge between now and then for socialization for virtual environments. That's kind of another way to put it. Yep. That's a good question. What's that? Oh, sorry. Hey, he was asking about charity organizations or nonprofits. Yeah, there's been a couple of nonprofits that have already used it. And obviously, like with different sponsor booths, you can, as an organizer, you can make money off the event by charging, just like any convention. And then so you have the margin there as an organizer to actually make a profit off of the revenue you bring in from sponsors. Some cool activations too. So there was an esports and gaming career fest last year, and there was a drink company. And there's a bar where you can walk to your avatar. There's a bar area, and you might be able to see it up against the wall there. When you walk into the bar area, you go to the bartender, you click on the bartender, and their labeled drink, branded drink was there. So you click that, the character that had the drink had a power-up around them, so it looked like Dragon Ball Z. So you're running around, and so they're like, oh, where'd you get that? It's like, oh, you gotta go get the drink. So they're like, oh, I'll go get the drink. And so the company was NutriGamer. And they had a great event, had a lot of people asking about them, because who doesn't want, Super Saiyan powers from the bar, right? So, but it's being creative like that. Those activations are another thing to be excited about. But like to your point, it's the event organizer. They got to be creative of how can we activate. But that comes from the artist and the design team within the game, within the experience. But that's probably been probably the most exciting activation the last year was that drink. People went ballistic over that. They didn't even get nothing out of it, but it was just they wanted the power up. They want to go Super Saiyan. So it's stuff like that. But like I said, it comes down to gamifying and actually being experienced. Because I can't. And again, I'm biased because I'm part of the team. Zoom fatigue was real. Like I hated it. You know what I'm saying? And like the video, basically static presentations that's not an event to me. Experience is an event. So this is more of an experience versus here's 5 presentation slides I'm going to present to you and you're going to like it. Like this is, I can do what I want. If I want to look at the live stream, I can. So you're in control versus here's what you got, take it, kind of thing. So I get a little passionate on like the Zoom stuff. It's just, it was, what's that? Oh, yeah, well, the other gamified too, you can walk on the patio and you can fish. So you walk up to the water, click the water, and then you can fish. So you have to click the button to actually catch the fish. And they did a competition a couple events ago, and they gave a prize out for the person that caught the biggest fish. So it's little stuff like that. I mean, you add, and there's a seek and find. So there's 29 stars, and if you gather 29 stars, you get a prize at the end. So some type of value. So again, it could be droids, it could be Satoshis, whatever it is. That's what will bring people to the event. So it's being creative. This is a good question. Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. If you want to check it out, I'll be over here.